Welcome G. Let's start. So today I am going to discuss about the decorator design pattern. Is a one kind of a software design pattern, and that's basically help us to adding the new behavior of an existing object. So let's discuss theory, and also we have to discuss how we can implement it. So if you talk about the theory is very simple. Allows behavior to be added to an object dynamically without affecting the behavior of other object. That means we have a one object, and in this object you want to add some behavior. Responsibility should be added to an object dynamically at a runtime. Whenever your application running, you can add some new behavior, new method, new functionality. So decorator just help us to decorate, means add something on your existing object. So some definition simple: allows behavior to be added on an individual object dynamically without affecting other objects. So let us look the code. So first, these decorator patterns are heavily used in java.io package. That is first example ki how Java use. So if you talk about, let's give file object, and generally we have to create a new file. Let's key file temp.txt file. Now this file object, now I want to write some content. I want to write so w write. So here there is no any write function, but writing anything in a file you need a file object. So for writing you have another file writer. Okay, so new file writer says you need a file. Now file writer give an option to write the content. All right, this is a test data. Now you can close the file writer. Okay, so here file writer object to write some content need a file object. So instead of file writer class creating a new file object, we are adding a new file object here. On top of this file, they are going to write the content. Now let's want to simply read it. So if you want to read like a file dot read, there is no any kind of read function. I want to read file, so you need some. So here if you do like a file writer, you want to just read, there is no any read operation. So file class is responsible to just holding a file. File writer class is responsible to write the file. So let's give file reader class need a file. Which file you want? File reader. And now file reader, let's give want to read. So they have offer read the data in the form of buffer, in the form of byte string. So what you can do, instead of file reader, we can say ki I want kind of a not a file reader, just a buffered file reader. So new buffered file reader, and now it like a file reader. And now here buffered file reader have a read line function. That's it out, and you want to check that you are able to some write in the content in the file and you want to read the data. So here Java use, this is the nature known as a decorating. Buffer reader want to read some content in the line by line, so they need some reader. So first they need a reader. File reader need some file, so then you have added a file here. So each class play a independent responsibility to meeting the file read and write operation. So here buffer reader class you decorating with file reader object with decorating with a file object. So this is a very simple example, as a JDK itself use the decorator pattern in many places. Okay, here what you read, each classes have a own responsibility. File class is responsible just holding the content file, but they are not offering any write operation or read operation. Write operation is another class that is responsible to write on the file, but they are not creating own file. Just they need an input as a file. At the runtime, whatever the file you want, they can write in those files. Similarly, file reader need read the file, but they are not creating content and written in the file. Instead, they say, tell me which file I am going to read. Similarly, buffer reader say, I am going to read file line by line, but tell me file reader, which file reader I am going to read. File reader says, tell me which file I have to read. So these functionality are we are reading as a runtimes. So this is the complete example of your decorator. Let's similar kind of let's say I want own kind of similar kind of object I want to create. Okay, so let us here basic example. Let's see, we have a interface. Let's car is a very basic interface, and let's see here we have a like just method. Let's key assemble. Just so suddenly we have some kind of a basic car. After that you might can add as a sport car or luxury car, but when you are making any sport car, first you need a basic car. After that you are going to adding the support about the luxury car or sport car. So here let's see we have some class basic car. Just implement your car. Basic car. Okay. Okay. So here what let's see here you can build car equal to new basic car dot assemble. It's fine. There is no any intelligence we have added. Okay, so new basic car as, but let's see how I want to look like build the not only basic car, but let's I want to build some car like say class like let's sport car. Okay, let's say I want to build sport car. Similarly, let's say I want to build a class luxury car. So similarly you have to independently implemented this. So instead of that, why for each sport car or luxury car need a basic car or kind of a car assembly. So we have a like one abstract class that hold the instance of a car. basic instance. This also need a basic instance. This also need a basic instance. On the top of that, you are going to support the feature. So we have to create one basic uh, decorator, car decorator, you can say car decorator. That's first need a class car decorator. Let's key implements to car. Here say just we have a car instance and just insert your constructor. Okay, now we have a car. So now this just hold the basic car, and on the top of that we are going to add in the feature. So we are going to extend our this car and just okay, let's say start. Okay, and let's key override. We are going to whatever the car dot assemble, first assemble basic car whatever we have. After that we are just going to adding feature of sport car. Okay, similarly we have a luxury car. We have a added feature of luxury car. So now let's key if you are going to the build like here. Now I am to build the luxury car. Okay, so luxury car. So you have to new luxury car. For building a luxury car, we at least need a basic car. So here say we need a basic car. Now luxury dot your display assemble. So this is the way. We are not going to build the complete car with all the functionality. So if you need a luxury car, we need some basic car. On the top of that, we are going to build. So let's key we want not luxury, but I want to sport luxury. So let's key I want to a sport car, but with a luxury feature. Sport car. So I am saying create a new sport car, but first I want to need a luxury car. So new luxury, but luxury car creating we need some basic car. And now your sport car is ready. Assemble. Let's just out similar demarcation. Okay, just run it. So this way we are able to build. Now let's want to build in the luxury car with sport feature than basic feature. So this pattern decorator just allow you to decorate feature, and this is also helping to each independent class playing a specific role. Just for let's keep for here for creating sport car, first we have to build some basic car. Are we want to make a luxury car? So first we have to build some basic car. So this basic car, instead of luxury car going to create first basic car and then create a luxury car, instead why not we are just adding those dependency or feature at a runtime. So runtime whatever the feature we are going to add, accordingly our sports car is assembled. So implementation look like, if you look here, similarly like buffer reader you want to create, they need a file reader. File reader you want to create, need a file. Similarly, you want to create a sport car with a luxury feature, sport car, need a luxury car need a basic car. So here each components are playing very specific role. This is the one kind of a basic principle, single responsibility. One class doing only things. Here file class is only play, just storing the content of file. They are not any kind of offer like read and write operation. File writer operation class only responsible to writing the content in the file, whatever you file give me. Here you can any file you can pass. If file writer are not decorating, means internally file writer creates some file and writing the content, so always a fixed set of parameter. But here say whatever you file pass, I can write the content. Similarly, buffer reader responsible just reading the content. From where? Just to tell me I want to from this reader. This reader tell me a file. This is the file. So here each classes play a individual role, single responsibility principle. The decorator pattern just say whatever the class want, instead of writing each and everything independently, just decorate what you need. Just decorate what you need. This is this class, this you could say decorator design pattern help us to build classes with very single, you can have very specific functionality. Each class play a very independent functionality, not a building complete complex support car in within one class. Just segregate what are the functionality, and at a runtime what you want as per what the customization needed, you can just play add the behavior at a runtime. So I want let's not start I want a sport car, but let's see, I want a simple car. Okay, car. Okay, here I want to not a basic, just I want to give my some start from customization car. Let's see, I pass here somewhere. Let key start with customization. And your car is ready, because you are not dependent on specific types of basic car. You started with a customization. So here how it's possible, reason ki this car, this your constructor take a car interface, and car interface is only one abstract method. You can pass any implementation at runtime. Here I can pass ki start with this way, maybe start with a different color. Okay, so any kind of car at types you can assemble with the help of whatever you want. Let's keep customization with different color. Start customization with a different color. You are ready to create. So here our class just depend upon not actual instance, but on the higher level, your interface level. And interface level actual implementation, you can pass anyone whatever you want. So they are also support kind of a loose coupling between. Here the dependency between these classes were very loose. They are not tightly bound. So decorator pattern just say you can add the responsibility at a runtime, and please be ensured that each class play a very specific role so that you can easily plug in and play in which place you need. So it is how to the, if you look the implementation approach, simple we have our interface, and for each types of sport car need some basic you can say car feature. So for that each not here we're not storing each support car, not storing the instance of car, just we have created one abstract class, and that abstract class hold the car instance basic, and on the top of that we are going to add in the feature. On the top of that we are going to add in feature. The implementation is very simple. Okay, so this is the about your abstract decorator design pattern. Just this allow us to add behavior to an object at a runtime. Hope it will help you to know what is the decorator design patterns. Many times, whenever you start learning Java, you have learn about new buffer reader, new file reader. They are heavily used. So we are already using the decorator design pattern, but by name we don't know. But now you know the definition, how the implementation, then you visualize, okay, lots of JDK places we are creating object with the help of another class, with the help of another object. At runtime you are injecting an object. So this is the decorator pattern say, runtime you can add the behavior of an object. So here you can know the decorator just help us at a runtime you can add the functionality instead of modifying existing classes. Whatever different kind of object I want, you can add the different object. You want a different object, you can add a different object. Your current object can modify his behavior depend upon the input type, what kind of object you are setting. So that is the about your decorator design patterns. And here again I would like to say thank you for watching this video.